Doc, it seems like Jamal's not the kind of guy that you worry about the percentages with. He'd been in kind of like a 2 week long slump, and then
then bam, it's you get lucky sometimes too as a coach. You have to make a decision, keep him in. Go with JJ, who was starting to get it going a little bit, and you just felt like he was gonna break out, and he made the one, and once he made that one, the floodgates opened for him. It was good. He needed it. We needed it.
Doc, the first half, you go down by 16. It could be like you guys just played in Phoenix the night before, about to go on a road trip. What turned there? In the
honestly, and Blake said it at halftime, our bench in both halves. The bench in the first half, they came in and cut it to 6, and then it got to 10, and then they did it again in the second half. You remember the starters got down, the bench came in, cut it to 6, and then they came out, and the starters took it forever. So today, it was one. It's funny. It's so nice to hear, which I haven't heard much. When we were subbing out, the starters was yelling, "Come on, bench, give us a lift." They knew they needed the energy, and it was funny. I think Jamal really is the only one that scored. Baby played great, but it's just that entire group they give us energy.
What Glenn Baby kind of does, it doesn't show up in the stat sheet.
No.
He's trying to do it on the bench, get the crowd into it.
Yeah, he was great tonight. He had great energy all night. It's funny. I was taking Spencer out in the first half, but he said, "No, I'm done. I need to come out," which I like. He gave everything he had, and then he knew he needed a rest. So it was just really good.
How important is this win right before an 8-game trip? I mean, just leaving on this note.
Well, it's nice. You don't want to leave on a loss, obviously. This is a hard trip we're going on, and there's a lot of bumps in it, a lot of travel. I've never been on an 8-game trip, so that I know of. So we'll just take it one game at a time.
Matt left the court a little bit gingerly. How is he, and what's the
He's
status?
good. He's had an abdominal strain. That's why he didn't practice the other day. I think when he committed the foul to reach, I think he probably re-aggravated it. That's an issue. That's something that we're going to monitor.
Doc, there were a couple plays too down the stretch where you guys just kind of scrambled.
Yeah.
And ended up with the ball. Obviously, the play where Jamal threw that pass.
Yeah, I don't even know. I didn't know he had that left in him. The sprinter speed by Jamal. That was fantastic. And the two things that I loved at the end of the game tonight was, one, we dug out the loose balls, which we talked about before the game. That you had to get your hands dirty against Denver. And then the second one, we executed out of timeouts. I think we scored 3 or 4 times in a row out of timeouts where it was execution. When you start doing those two things, you win a lot of games.
No, just back.
I think just the right side of the room is talking today.
That's right, on.
It's the old man. He gets to talk first.
I don't have much to say. It looked like you guys are blinded against yourselves quite a bit.
Yeah.
As it was Jamal. How did you guys blind through it? How did Jamal
we lose this game 4 weeks ago for sure. We just kind of hung in there. Jamal kept saying, "We're going to win this game." I'm guaranteeing, he said it at the end of the third quarter, "Don't worry, we're going to win this game." That just is a team that's really believing in themselves. They knew we didn't have it. We were missing shots. We just didn't have it. We were playing, but you could see it. And they just hung around long enough to take the game away.
You kind of stole my question. Is it good to win a game
That's
that
why
way?
he's been here for so long, and you're new.
But when the offense has been so it's you can always seem to rely on it, and it's kind of slow for 3 quarters. Is it good to kind of get a win this way, where you got to scratch your?
Well, it's good to get a win, period. Number one, but it's really good to get a win, like you just said. I always say your offense will fail you at times when you least want it to, but your defense can carry you through or give you a chance for your offense to catch up, and that happened tonight.
With CP3 and Blake being vocal often, does Jamal kind of pick his spots when he makes statements like that, or does that happen a lot?
That didn't happen a lot with Jamal. He's not the big talker, but he was probably saying that for himself, maybe, and saying it for the team, maybe saying it for me to make sure I kept the man. I don't know why he was saying it, but I was believing him, and it was good. It was good to hear.
the gap between the bench at the beginning of the season seemed pretty big. It seems to get smaller and smaller as the season goes on. Is that just natural progression?
Yeah, and changes, you know. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think this version of our bench, they trust each other a little bit more. They execute, you know. One of the things is funny, you could hear them talk, and they thought the starters in the beginning of the third, the ball wasn't moving. And you can hear Spencer and Austin and all of them. Beatty was the main guy. Hey, when we come in, let's get the ball moving. We're going to get it to the scores, but let's move the ball first. And, you know, I think their first two scores, the ball went all the way around the horn and scored. And, you know, it was funny. I thought it was almost, this is how you have to play. You know, it was almost matches to them. And then the starters came back in and did it.
You account, this was very much like the Phoenix game. How do you account for the other team getting off to a big start at the first quarter and at the start of the second half? That's not realistic to think you're going to do that every time.
Well,
win.
we usually, if you look, our third quarters are pretty dominant. So, you know, it just happened, you know, tonight. You know, last night it really didn't. It was more the middle of the second when it took off. So, but it's a long season. It really is. And, you know, you win games ways you don't know how to win games. You just figure out a way. And sometimes you play great and win games. And you put it all in the same thing. And at the end of the year, you kind of have a view of how you play. And that's what we're going through right now.
Doc, we talked about DeAndre before the game, but that final 60 seconds of the first half, 3 blocks. I mean, if you were to kind of
yeah, I mean, that was the postcard to all the coaches. Yeah. Really, I mean, he just changes the game, and you know, I know there are offensive guys that change the game. You know, they do. You know, Klay Thompson had 37 in the quarter. That changed the game. What DJ did in the second quarter today, that changed the game. It's the same thing. It's just that when the ball goes in, people talk about it more. And we don't talk about the DJs and Dennis Rodmans and the Ben Wallaces when they played and the effect that they had on teams. It's winning. It's a winning effect too. You know, those are the guys that help you win titles. And so, I hope he makes it. When is it? Tomorrow?
That's the
Thursday.
vote. Yeah, Thursday. So.
Okay, I voted already. You guys want to know? You want to know who I voted for?
Doc, two things. When you talk about the bench and how they trust each other and talk to each other, how is that possible? I mean, this is a group that's been together for 10 days.
I think they knew they had to. I don't actually know, Dan. You know, chemistry is a strange thing, and sometimes you don't know. You know, we really only added 2 guys in. But, you know, I think they all wanted to get it right. Like, you know, they knew coming in that our bench was struggling. The guys that had been here knew it. And so I think it's more on them. They work out together now. It's amazing. They come every practice. They work together before and after as a group, you know. So they know that it's important, and they're working at it.
I mean, that's something they have to do just because they're trying to get those other guys up to speed, right?
Yeah, but the veterans don't. You know, usually you throw anybody out there with the coaches, but the fact that Spencer and Jamal is in there doing that, that's pretty nice. That tells you he knows it's important.
And as far as Matt goes, if he's unable to go,
Yeah.
You guys are kind of short at that position.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas of what options you might
Yeah,
use?
yeah, we won't go out and panic and sign somebody. We're gonna wait and be patient, even if he's down. You know, we have enough guys. We can play small. We can play Turk. We can play Blake at the 3. So we have I know you would like that. We have a lot of different options. We don't want to have any of them, but if we do, we do. Yes. Melissa, it's your turn. Are you ready to speak or not?
I'm ready.
Okay.
So the Clippers have won 5 games in a row. It's your guys' second biggest streak this season after your 9-game winning streak. What do you think this one's due to?
I just think we're playing better. You know, we're playing very well. You know, tonight was a great example where you didn't play well and still won. So I don't think it's anything deeper than that. It's just that we're playing really good basketball, and our team they're in a good place mentally. You know, it's always nice. Makes it easier for me.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.